We go next to New York City, home to immigrants from many countries, including those on the African continent. And in the area known as Harlem, there is a center dedicated to the medical and other needs of the African diaspora, such as HIV testing and treatment.
Now, HIV can be a shameful topic among Africans, but the nonprofit African Services Committee works to dispel this stigma and get people the help they need. VOA's Adam Phillips went to the center and he shared his experience with me. Let's go ahead and start with part of his report.
More than 12,000 clients took advantage of African Service Committee's free or low-cost services last year. The group was founded in 1981 by Ethiopian refugee Asfaha Hadera. He says there were no services geared to New York's African diaspora at the time.
It has become a response to their need. As a result, this has become the place where they come and share their experiences.
ASC now offers HIV outreach, education, and testing. They also have now opened up sort of branch clinics, five of them in Ethiopia. And that's an amazing way that he feels that some of the American values and largesse that he gained here in America, he can give back to his own country.
Right. Tell us about how that happened, how he was able to expand into Ethiopia.
He did it with a small grant and a big dream. He responded to former President Clinton's challenge to members of the diaspora, not just the African diaspora, but other places where they had flourished in America. He wanted them to come back and give some of the money and the expertise and the largesse that they had achieved here back in the homeland, all over the homeland. He said, go back, you've got wonderful riches here, you've got experience, you've got sort of a culture of organizational transparency and things like that. Bring it back home and help the people that you come from, and it'll be good for America and good for them.
All services in one, so that the poor don't have to hustle from one corner to another. Reproductive health is there, family planning is there, nutrition is there, counseling and testing is there, and also treatment.
In your piece, you focused a lot on healthcare, but there are a lot of other services it offers.
Yes, very important services. Well, they have a huge branch that does immigration services, which mostly focuses on legal things having to do with visas and things like that. They have a very, very large movement within the organization to end domestic violence, which is kind of a cultural norm in some of the places where these people come from. So sometimes if women fear domestic abuse, if they go back to their home country, if they're deported or their visas expire, they actually work very hard with the Immigration and Naturalization Services to get their deportation or deferred or their visas renewed.
The work that the center does in terms of HIV, AIDS prevention and treatment and testing, but there's a stigma that still remains among the African population. Why is that?
I don't know why the stigma is there. It may be that although people are, sexually as active as they are in other places, the actual discussion of it is much more taboo than it is in Western countries like the United States and parts of Europe. Also, it was associated and branded very early on as a homosexual disease, and so the stigma attached with being gay has sort of been transferred to sort of make double trouble as far as the disease goes. So, people are very shunned in parts of Africa for having it. People don't talk about it, and people can get actually run out of their village or even their towns or their communities for even discussing it openly.
Until they get sort of comfortable with the services we have, they tend to self-stigmatize until I sit down and explain to them that we are here to serve, that the services here are confidential.
And so part of what they have to do, besides only treatment and testing, is outreach and encouraging people who have the disease to actually talk about it and get support from each other. And that's a whole new cultural thing too, because people don't really necessarily feel comfortable sharing it with others, but slowly but surely they're getting there.
VOA's Adam Phillips in New York City. Some 33 million people in the world are living with HIV, AIDS, and its stigma, most in poor and sub-Saharan African countries. But recent global efforts have led to a decline in new HIV cases worldwide.